Boom.
That was fun. I think the three of us together is really fun.
That was a really good conversation. Yeah, I agree. Oh, look who's here. You'll have to turn up the audio if you want to hear them, because I would keep it down. No, not there. Down at the speakers down there. Veronica's here.
It looked like half of Veronica.
Oh.
There. Now you get some echo. Wow. Turned it up.
I can't see anybody. I don't know.
Oh,
Hi, Veronica.
Hello. Hi,
What you
chat
doing?
room. I'm just saying hi. I'm all shiny. All right.
Give them 10 seconds. They'll say hi back.
I said hi right away.
You did. You
Well,
did.
Allison, yeah.
The chat room has to catch up.
Yeah.
They're kind of slow this morning.
All right. Well, I just came by to say hi.
How'd it go?
There they are. W. Scottis saw me. Hello. Goodbye.
You're going back upstairs.
Going back
All right.
upstairs.
The dogs followed you, though.
Dogs came. I'll turn on the volume.
All right, thanks.
That's what I heard first. That's who I thought you were talking about.
Hey, gang. You can stay down here. What should we call this show? Showbot.tv? Siri, remind me in 2035. Those aren't the certificates you're looking for. iPad pros and cons.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, I like that. And my wife works there. 100 gigabit per second, not a typo. Almost makes you want to move. If it weren't for the snow. iPad as big as your head.
Somebody said I was born in Detroit.
I was born ready in Detroit. YouTube. Tom's wife works there. What's the furry thing? Oh, yeah, that was funny.
Makes me want to look at read comics.
Oh, you should.
Oh.
Like, just get a free one from Comixology. They have a bunch. And just try it out, even if you're not a comics person. It's just gorgeous.
iPad Pro, who is it for? It's sad that we have to ask that question, but...
Who is it good for?
Absolutely. Oh, wait.
Very large-handed people. Like, there's some large hands right there.
That reminds me of when you were back in Illinois and you were in a classroom and you were sitting with your hands like this on the desk. They were just huge.
Oh yeah, because I had the camera also with that wide angle.
Yeah.
Which always does that.
And my wife works there.
Django has things to say.
Hi, Roger.
Roger has things to say.
So I just got a virtual...
Oh, Silverblade was asking about Jenny in the chat. Jenny, she was traveling, then she had a consulting gig, and then today she had an appointment. But she is around. She helped write headlines today. She's fine, and she will be back. Don't worry. She was on once this week already, if you missed that. So, I'm sorry, Allison. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to blather about my own personal questions. I just switched over to a virtual private server this week, and I suddenly have giant gobs of bandwidth, and I'm toying with the idea of putting my podcast files on my own server. Then I thought if I'm going to move it, maybe I should just put it on archive. Do you really do the audio files on archive.org?
Not for DTNS anymore, because once we hit around 20,000 subscribers, once we got above that, archive started to get a little bit unreliable because it's not meant to hold that many simultaneous requests at once.
Okay.
So right after the show, it would go away for a little bit until the requests had calmed down. So I switched to SoundCloud for DTNS, but I still do archive for my other shows.
What's the advantage of SoundCloud?
Cheap hosting.
Word, but I don't know anything about
They
it.
give you some metrics and stuff too, which is nice to have.
Is it a Libsyn Blueberry equivalent?
No, because it's not really dedicated to podcasting as much as they are.
Okay.
But it's cheap and pretty reliable too.
Okay. I really dislike the Libsyn interface, especially if something goes wrong. The CEO told me, "Well, we don't work weekends."
Well, yeah, I could respect that, but
I guess, but for a paid-for service,
yeah.
in fact, I did it with Bluehost.
Archive also doesn't work weekends, though.
True.
They don't work for you at all.
Yeah.
They're just
But you're not paying them. I'm
yeah.
paying
No, that's a good point.
Libsyn. The one thing I didn't realize when I signed up for the VPS, though, was that the virtual private server was, I'm the sysadmin now.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So I'm going to rent me a sysadmin on the side.
You need a virtual private sysadmin.
Yep. Luckily, I know one. Bart.
You got one nearby?
Yeah. Well, in Ireland.
Oh, not nearby.
That's what Bart does for a living.
Yeah. Well,
He says he's going to teach me to do it, which is an
That'd be good.
appalling idea, Tom.
You know what they say? Teach an Allison to sysadmin, and she'll sysadmin for the rest of her life.
But I'm not careful. I
Give
just
an
I look at
Allison a virtual sysadmin, and she'll sysadmin for a day.
It's terrifying.
That's the Bible that says that about sysadmins. VP Sys. All right, I think I'm going to go with iPad pros and cons. It's just subtle and clever and beautiful, and I love it.
All right, sounds good. It is oddly a lot of work to take one show and split it into 3.
More work than it should be, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't sound that hard. I'm not creating new content. But
if you do it right, though, all the work is front-loaded.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But the first week I had it to do, I recorded Chit Chat and then forgot to post it.
Oh.
Because it's not what I do. I hold it until the weekend.
Routine. Yeah.
No, I like it. Like if you're on the show, I can send you a link and it's exactly to the one thing you're on, and you can, instead of going, okay, well, go past Allison's blather for 32 minutes and then click here. You know, it was so unnatural.
Yesterday, I put the YouTube link in the MP3 part of the template for Daily Tech News Show, and it wasn't till Theater Monkey emailed me later yesterday evening. So if you're wondering why the MP3 was late yesterday,
that's
why.
Yeah. People should yell at us sooner. I've noticed that before. Where
there was one guy who yelled on TomMerritt.com, which helped me remember to fix it over there because it automatically reposts. But that was it.
I do most of my posting by hand still of all the different places the Twitters, the Facebooks, the YouTubes.
Oh, yeah. No, I automate a lot of that.
Yeah. The spamming?
I have a great plugin that I can't remember the name of now that you can take an RSS feed and then auto post, and I use that on TomMerritt.com for everything.
Oh.
It's meant for people who want to create link farms, I'll be honest. That's really kind of how it's tilted. But it works great for me to take like DTNS and FSL-9 and Cord Killers and just like take those posts and then put them on TomMerritt.com. Yeah.
The thing I'm looking for, so like if I post to Twitter, I want to say, add Ace Detect, but I post over on Facebook, I got to say Tom Merritt, so I always end up having to diddle around with it.
Yeah, that's true. I just allow for a certain amount of inaccuracy in life.
Just get over it.
There's a guy very kindly offering advice on the template for DTNS because it doesn't that default template for WordPress does not fully fill some screens. And I was trying to not sound like a jerk when I pretty much said I don't care.
I don't care.
Because he's right. There's nothing he's saying that's wrong. To me, it's like as long as the content gets across. And he was, it's like, yeah, but some people might listen to the show but won't because they think it looks bad. And I'm like, yeah, you're not wrong. I just have to prioritize the amount of things that I do in life.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything seems like it doesn't take much time if it's the only thing you're thinking that person has to do.
Right.
It's kind of like those dollars adding up that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I need time to pretend I'm dumb about Star Wars.
So I've made it through 1 through 5. I had actually started to believe that I didn't like Star Wars, and having gone back through in order, I realized it's just because I really disliked 2 and 3.
Oh, yeah.
Once I got to 4, I was having fun again.
So the new episode of Pretend I'm Dumb About Star Wars is up today. It is me talking about Attack of the Clones, and I've always thought that I liked Phantom Menace the least in Attack of the Clones than Revenge of the Sith in that order. Like I liked Revenge of the Sith the best. But after rewatching Attack of the Clones, I was like, wow, this story makes no sense.
Oh, good.
No sense. I only liked it more because it had more action. There's great action scenes in it, but wow.
The plot is too hard.
Thank
you.
It doesn't hang at all. And so that's the 40 minutes of me on Pretend I'm Dumb about Star Wars, like going like, wait, why are they doing this? Who would think this is a good idea? Also, why is Anakin a jerk? Like, he is mean. It's a little tease. So go to TomMarrott.com.
I like it.
Look for PIDASW if you want to subscribe to that new.
What's amazing is Anakin ages so quickly from the first to the second one.
Well, it's 10 years later.
But Padme looks,
exactly. Padme doesn't age at all.
She's timeless.
She is. She uses a really good moisturizer.
I think
percentage change, though. Remember, her percentage change in age was only like a third, and his was 50%. So
for sure.
Also, I think it's just like I think he just basically had all these things he wanted to do, and it's like when you prepare a bunch of ingredients and you realize you don't need them all for a particular dish, you just cram it in there anyway. Because what else are you going to do with it?
Well, and the other thing is, because the idea with Pretend I'm Dumb about Star Wars is me trying to forget everything I know about Star Wars and say, okay, what would I think if I didn't know all these things? A lot of the stuff is, especially in Attack of the Clones, is pandering. You're like, here's the part where Obi-Wan talks about, flying. Here's the part where C-3PO doesn't like space travel. Here's, it's like, if you know the other movies, you're like, oh, that's a cool little wink. But if you're pretending you're dumb about Star Wars, you're like, that meant nothing to me. I get no enjoyment out of that.
And that's a problem with doing prequels the way he did them, is that now your entire vision of what the prequels are colored by the movies that supposedly chronologically come after them.
Which is fine, and some people have said you should be watching them in the order they were released in theaters because that makes more sense, and then that's not wrong. It does make more sense.
Have you heard the concept of watching Star Wars in machete order?
Yes.
I'm going to put a link to that in the chat room. Now that I'm almost done watching them, I want to go back and reread because I couldn't even remember what some of these episodes were about because I disliked them so much.
What's the machete order?
So the machete order is you're supposed to watch them 4, 5, 2, 3, 6, and never even watch episode 1. That one's not even
Yeah,
in
you
the
go
order.
watch the Darth Maul battle scene if you need to watch anything out of episode 1. But otherwise,
I hate to say it, but I really like Jar Jar Binks. I think he's hilarious. So I know that proves I'm not a real Star Wars fan. But this machete order is the guy it goes through explains. It's like 30 pages long, explaining why each one is in which order, what gets removed. Why shouldn't you watch episode 1? Why does this work better? It just goes on and on and on. It's pretty funny. I mean, this is taking it pretty seriously.
There's also
Shockingly.
the Phantom Edit, which Topher Grace did. And he has said that he will never release to people, but he has described. And so other people have taken it upon themselves to try to recreate it. And you can find it in the dark corners of the internet. But basically, it takes the Darth Maul fight scene, opens the movie with it, jumps ahead 10 years to the assassination attempt on Padme. And it basically just tries to cut all 3 movies down into one movie that hangs together.
Movie.
Yeah.
I think one of my single biggest things I hated about those middle Star Wars at 2 and 3 in there was the love scene crap. You don't go to see this kind of movie for love scenes. That's not what it's for.
They weren't even particularly good love scenes.
Well, that's the
No,
thing.
no.
If it were a good love scene, I might not mind. But again, I talk about this at length in the current episode of Pretend I'm Dumb about Star Wars, but I don't believe it. I don't believe that love scene at all. There is nothing leading up to it that says, oh, okay, I saw that. You're almost led to believe the opposite based on what you see. Unless you already know that those two will get together and give birth to Leia and Luke, right? In which case, you're like, well, I guess I'll just make the mental jump. But there really isn't much to make you believe, oh, right, well, of course, these two have had a brewing affection, especially because Anakin was 8 years old the last time you saw him.
Creepy.
That's just weird.
Well, and Padme is not allowed to be married and be in the Senate. But she said, "Oh, if they ever find out I'm married," wait, what? You can't be married and be in the Senate? I mean, maybe you can't be a Jedi
no,
and
that's
get married.
Anakin. Anakin says that I can't.
No. He says he can't let anybody know. But she says if the Senate were to find out, that would be the end of me or something along those lines.
Well, no, that she was married.
That
to
she
a
had
Jedi.
violated the Jedi code is the way.
Okay, that I might allow.
Yeah.
So I personally think that love scenes in action movies should be like Steven Seagal in Fire Down Below. So at the beginning of the movie, he's got his girlfriend there and he locks her in a bathroom, and then the entire movie takes place where this whole mountain blows up because of the fire down below and everything. And at the very end, he runs down. The house is completely destroyed, except of course the four walls of the bathroom are still standing. He rips open the door. She runs out into his arms and he hugs her and he goes, "Pat, pat," and he walks away. That's how much love scene you want in an action movie, in my opinion.
Just make it believable. That's all.
I don't mind a love story. I really don't. Just don't put it in my action movies.
It's not a straight action movie. It's supposed to be an adventurous romp that has elements of action and other things. I mean, it's my biggest complaint again is there was this need to kind of explain everything, like what you were alluding to or saying earlier, Tom. Like, oh, it's a nod to all the people who watched.
Yeah.
All the other movies first. It's like, well, I gotta put it in there so people know why. It's like some things are better left as a mystery.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm out of the post. Thanks everybody for watching or listening. Hey, I am going to be changing the URL of the Patreon from patreon.com/acedetect to patreon.com/DTNS. So if you could send a pre-roll thing that says dailytechnewsshow.com/support at the end. That'll help, because I only got 8 of those little introductory things that don't say the old URL. So just a thought. If you made it this far watching or listening, I'm assuming you're dedicated enough to maybe try that. See you later, folks.